to win this state. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. We're going to keep it going. And I must tell you, you know, I've just looked. The poll just came out. We're up 6. Okay, big deal. Didn't we win by 11 or something? We're up 6. And if I'm up 6, nobody has ever done for Iowa and the Farm Belt and the farmers and all. No more estate taxes, no more anything. I saved ethanol. Ethanol is said. For me to only be up 6, I'm a little bit concerned, I'll tell you that. Because nobody's going to do for Iowa what I did for Iowa. We've just learned through explosive documents published by a very fine newspaper, the New York Post, that Joe Biden has been blatantly lying about his involvement in his son's corrupt business dealings. And this is a big smoking gun. The newly uncovered emails reveal that a top executive from the highly questionable Ukrainian company, it's an energy company, which paid Hunter at least $50,000 a month, but it's now looking like it could be $183,000 a month. That's a lot of money. Would anybody in this audience take it? I'll take it. We'll take it. Despite the fact that he had absolutely no experience, nothing about energy, wrote to Hunter, arranging
Okay, technical difficulties right to start things off, so you guys should be able to hear him
for
now.
a meeting to meet with Vice President.
There you go. If you're on one YouTube, oh, if the first YouTube feed just died. So anyway, it's back to the original one from before in 2019, January in Iowa. So here we are. This is the actual, this is happening right now because he's talking about the New York Post and Hunter Biden. That is today. So we should have the volume now. We should have the volume because ICANN has the virus. And this is President Trump in Iowa. This is the live stream. This is what we do. We chat truth to power. I am your Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams. And yeah, here we go.
Joe Biden. I've been saying this for a long time with that family. The same Ukrainian energy executive even sent Hunter an email saying, quote, "We urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence." In other words, Hunter was being paid for access to his vice president father, who was specifically put in charge of Ukraine and Russia.
What could mean?
How about the Russia hoax? It turned out that they were the ones that did the Russia hoax. It was them.
No, it came out today that there will be no charges. In fact, there's not even going to be a report on Obamagate and Flynn and the unmasking and all that. They looked at it. There's nothing there. There's no Obamagate. There's no Spygate. It's all nonsense. But he's going to keep going with it.
No collusion.
Hold on.
Collusion. These emails show that Biden's repeated claim that he has never spoken to Hunter about his business dealings were a complete lie. It was a total lie. He lied to you over and over because he's trying to cover up a massive pay-for-play scandal.
David, did you check out the New York Post article? Is there anything in there about him talking to Hunter about his business dealings?
At the heart of his vice presidency, and everybody knows it, everybody in Washington knows it. We've known it for a long time. The fact is there was never an administration more corrupt than the Obama-Biden administration. There was never.
Well, there was Nixon.
Just weeks ago, Joe stood before the American people in a presidential debate and told you that these claims had been totally discredited.
They have
and
been.
that his son did nothing wrong.
That
turns out to be a total lie. Now we can see clearly that Biden is a corrupt politician.
David Mickelson is Snopes saying they're about to publish an article on these latest findings, and they look to be phony. So, is it Giuliani's papers? Is that what the things he was talking about in January on OAN?
Who shouldn't even be allowed to run for the presidency. I was pressing Joe Biden to tell the truth because the corrupt lamestream media right back there, all those cameras right back there.
The what media?
Because the corrupt lamestream media right back there,
Lamestream?
all those cameras right back there. They're corrupt, and they refuse to write the story. There was
Sorry, guys. His volume is going up and down. I don't know if it's the feed or it's him or it's Mike or whatever, but he's all over the place. I'm trying to normalize it as we go here.
wasn't one time in almost 4 years during my presidency.
I gotta turn my headphones
the
down.
greatest political scandal in U.S. history. A witch
In what?
hunt. A horrible,
Hold on.
horrible.
Stop! You stop. Everybody stop. Here, let's do that again.
In U.S. history. See, during the greatest political scandal in U.S. history, a witch hunt, a horrible, horrible, disgusting witch
Henstry?
hunt that should never, ever
Is that the study of chickens?
happen to another president.
That's a thing, isn't it? Henstry or Henistry? Henstry. That's a thing. Someone look that up.
Again, and people should pay for the crimes they committed. Which turned out to be a total illegal hoax that false and libelous stories every day. False and libelous stories, and they knew they were
It's redundant,
false, too.
and it's redundant.
They knew they were false. They were never taken down by Twitter or Facebook or the mainstream media.
Marcy, us cool kids call Hennessy. We just call it Henny.
Never once. Yet with Biden today, they take negative posts down almost before they even go up. They're trying to protect him. They're trying to protect Biden. They take him down. And I was just getting off that magnificent plane.
And all the theory, the basic theory of Trump is that the fake news, they're trying to protect Biden, blah, blah, blah. No, it benefits the news to have Trump there because it gives them something to cover and it makes people tune in. Like us, we're tuning in. We're watching Trump right now. He's fascinating. He's an idiot, but he's fascinating. All of it is fascinating. Trump is fantastic for the news. So no, they're not trying to get rid of him. Yes, I mean, as human beings, it's better if we get rid of him. But it totally goes against any form of logic that the fake news is out to get him. Because they're not fake.
Behind us.
Ironically, the fake news is the one that they're trying to keep him in there.
Air Force One. And I had heard and I
Chris, are you live tweeting from the rally? Turn on your Facebook.
just don't know this for a fact, but they say
This is going to be some complete bull. I don't know this for a fact, but this guy once said it. I saw it on the Mega YouTube.
Kayleigh McEnany. You know Kayleigh, right?
McEnany?
Kayleigh McEnany.
Who's Kayleigh McEnany?
Good Kayleigh. She's so great. She's incredible.
Who?
And I had heard, and I just don't know this for a fact, but they say Kayleigh McEnany. You know Kayleigh, right?
McEnany.
Kayleigh McEnany. Good Kayleigh. She's so great. She's incredible. They closed down her account. She's the White House press secretary because she's
Who?
reporting the truth. They closed down her account.
Who
So
did?
let's see what's going to happen.
Who closed down Kayleigh McEnany's account? It's macaroni, by the way.
And did you hear the news? Bruce Orr is finally out of the Department of Justice. Bruce Orr.
Okay. Did he
Him
leave?
and his
Did he quit?
wonderful wife, Molly. She wrote all this stuff, and then he goes and he works at the Department of Justice, and he took it. Didn't he bring it to the FBI? The wife writes it. She gets paid a lot of money. Bruce Orr is finally out of the Department of Justice. That's good. Couple of years too late, that's all. He should be not only
Oh wait, guys, I'm totally out of it this afternoon. Is the Post article a complete hoax? Is that what's going on here?
in the Department of Justice outbox, he should be someplace else, okay? 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce
What?
it Burmese.
Who does?
A real beautiful company. Vice President, pronounce it. So this with the Burmese executive.
Hold on.
Department of Justice outbox, he should be someplace else, okay? 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese. A real beautiful company. Vice President Joe Biden went to Ukraine and threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid.
Yes, he's trying to say Burisma. You're absolutely right. Everyone but me figured that out. Burisma. Is that like a city in Iowa with a strange name? What is he talking about? That's awesome. Burisma.
Meeting with.
I'm gonna find you something, kids.
Not only in the Department of Justice outbox, he should be someplace else. Okay. 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company. Vice President Joe Biden went to Ukraine and threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid if they did not fire the prosecutor that was investigating his son.
Wow, I wanted to double check this before I said it, but yes, in the debate, Trump said Burisma twice without reading it from a teleprompter. Now he's reading it from a teleprompter. He's forgotten the name of the company. He said it twice in the debate. In case anybody out there is new, I can back up everything I say with facts, especially if it's just random opinion. Here's the debate. Give me a second here. I'll pull it up for you. This is him saying it. Let's see if he gets it wrong in the debate and we just didn't notice.
To deserve it. What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
Well, he called it Burisma there.
Question, not an answer.
None of that.
Burisma's sort of acceptable. They might say it Burisma in the Ukraine. They say my name Kiev in there, so who knows? And okay, let's try it again here. Let's see what he says.
An issue. Let the Vice President answer.
Discredited.
Did Burisma pay him $183,000 a month?
So Burisma there. And the second time.
Gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $100?
Burisma and Burisma. He pronounced it both ways in the debate, just to cover his bases. Just to cover his bases. They say it's a base.
And the company that is...
It is. That's good at random. $183,000 is pretty awesome for a barista. To bring in that kind of money from the Rennie
son worked for. That's Burisma.
What is it?
The company that the prosecutor that was investigating his son and the company that his son worked for. That's Burisma.
Burma-misma.
The documents also show that before...
You know, one of the most dangerous animals is a Burma-misma python, so you got to be careful.
One of Joe's trips to Ukraine, Hunter emailed his business partner saying his lucrative contract should begin now. Think of that. Should begin now. Right now, it's got to begin. The whole thing is so incredible. Here's a guy. Look, let's just put it in simple language.
Yeah.
He got thrown out of the military.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. He didn't have a job for a long time.
Had a drug addiction.
His father becomes vice president, and he's making millions.
Had jobs.
And millions and millions.
Had multiple jobs. Was on boards as board of directors.
Think of it. No, think of it.
Yeah, thinking of it.
Think of it.
All of what you're saying
It's
is
like,
false.
The Hillary stuff, the crooked Hillary.
Oh, the Hillary
Crooked
stuff.
Joe.
Crooked Joe. What?
You know, when a Democrat voter here in Iowa,
Yeah.
Joe, last year, you remember if his son raked in money in exchange for providing access? Joe called that man a damn liar. You're a damn liar. Kid's making millions of dollars. He had nothing. He didn't have a job. Thrown out.
He had jobs. He was a lawyer in law firms. He had dealt with his addiction, as so many Americans have. He was on the board of directors of Amtrak.
Out of the military, sadly, but thrown out of the military. And he knew nothing about energy. He knew nothing about investments. Knew nothing about China.
Had an investment company. So there's that.
How about he walked away $1.5 billion?
I mean, I don't know how much Ivanka knows about White Housing, but there we are.
To manage for China. They don't do that with the most brilliant people on Wall Street. Vice President Biden You owe the people of America an apology.
He's really trying to off-road tonight, but he's not having luck with it. Keeps going back to the teleprompter to bring him back into the track.
Because it turns out you are a corrupt politician, okay?
Joe? Thank you. David Mickelson pulled that up for us. Thank you, David. Hunter was a lawyer at the firm Boyce, Schiller, Flexner, an adjunct professor at Georgetown, chairman of the World Food Program USA, and CEO of his investment advisory firm. But he didn't have a job, not like a McDonald's job. He was certainly not a barista. There's a stigmata. He had stigmata in his barismals. He got burned on his stigmatas.
Joe Biden must immediately release all emails, meetings, phone calls, transcripts, and records related to his involvement in his family's business dealings, influence peddlings around the world.
And his long-form birth certificate, don't forget that.
Including China and including Russia.
Why would Joe Biden have any documents on his family's business? Does he think everybody has an inherited family empire like he does?
Hunter raked in a fortune from China while Joe Biden was giving China all of our jobs. They came, you know where they came from? Iowa.
They came
and plenty of other places, but they came from Iowa. He was giving them, they were taking our jobs, they were taking our factories, they were taking everything, they were taking our wealth. And I gave you $28 billion to say thank you very much, President Xi. It came right out of China. And because of that, everybody's happy in Iowa. I just hope you remember that on November 3rd. Hope you remember. Nobody else would have done it. Nobody else would have done it. If the Biden family treated...
Look, there's 3 cops for Trump's signs right behind him. What are the odds that there's 3 cops standing right behind them? And look at the people holding the signs.
The vice presidency as a for-profit corporation flying around the globe, collecting millions of dollars from China and Ukraine and Russia and other countries. In fact, the wife of the mayor of Ukraine and Russia and other countries. In fact, dollars from China and Ukraine and Russia and other countries. In fact, dollars from China
he doesn't say it.
Flying around the globe, collecting millions of dollars from China and Ukraine and Russia and other countries. In fact, the wife of the mayor of Moscow.
Okay, I'm calling it now, kids. There's been a suspicion. I don't like to get involved in the conspiracy theories. You guys know that. I like to have things backed up with fact. We joke. We have a good time. He had a stroke. I am absolutely 100% convinced he had a stroke, and that's probably what the visit to, I was going to say Wells Fargo? To the visit to Johns Hopkins? Cracker Barrel? That was probably the visit to the hospital at the end of last year for phase 1 of his physical. We just watched, Wells Fargo has some of the best doctors. We just watched, by mistake, some of us watched about 45 minutes ago, an Iowa speech from January of 2019. In that speech, we watched, what do you say, like 8-9 minutes of it, guys? Not a single gaffe. Everything he said, and he was saying his S's. More and more now, he's not saying his S's. He's not finishing phrases. This is exactly what my mom was like towards the end. For those of you who don't know, my mom was terminally ill for 5 years. They gave her 5 months. She gave us 5 years. She was a fighter. But her speech patterns became like this. Even when she was still ambulatory. She would trail off and forget the ends of phrases or just not say the ends of words or have difficulty reading things. She would be reading like things off the television and get the words all jumbled up. Yeah, I think absolutely this I 100%. I have no doubt in my mind. I could be wrong. No one knows for sure. But the fact that they're hiding it, the fact that they had doctors sign NDAs or they weren't allowed to work on him, this is why. Hold on. I got to check to see if I'm still recording that or not. And okay, I recorded that whole nonsense. So, anyway, yes, people can have strokes and be fully functional in their lives. He could still be president after having a stroke, but he just hates any sign of weakness. I'm calling it. And the judges agree.
Gave Hunter Biden a check for $3.1
And we've had this discussion before, and it's been a speculation. And again, I don't like to get into the conspiracy, but this is time after time. And I did this earlier a few weeks back. I looked back at an Everett Washington rally from 2016, where he promised school choice and the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it, and all that nonsense that he's doing all over again. He didn't have the kind of speech impediments that he has now. And I don't think speech impediments is the right word for it, ironically. But let's get back to it. I'm fully convinced. After watching him the last few nights, you've seen the number of gaffes he's had for the last few rallies, and just simple things like just not finishing the end of words, not putting the S on things. You can see his mouth. He's not doing it. He just leaves it trailing. Country.
$5 million in cash, while his father gave away the store to Russia, including Crimea. Remember Crimea?
Crimea.
Biden's got rich while America got robbed.
Crimea.
By contrast, and this is so true and so easily true, and I'm so proud of it in so many ways. I've given up billions of dollars to serve as your president, and it's my greatest honor of a lifetime. It's so true.
They have multiple signs, by the way.
I ran for president because I could not sit back any longer and watch the terrible injustices being done to the American people. And it's true. And by the way, before the...
Hey, Olex, come join us on YouTube. If you guys are watching on Twitter, you guys are about 30 seconds behind the rest of us. So you're... If you want to be more on real time, right now YouTube is, let's see, it's been fantastic lately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's about 4 seconds behind on YouTube. So you're right up with what's happening on the screen. If you're still on Twitter and you're happy on Twitter, then stay where you are. That's fine. But otherwise, head over to YouTube, youtube.com/KevinLeeFather. Find the live feed, youtube.com/KevinLeeFather, and then you can be up on it like the cool kids.
China plague came in. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world.
And
now it's going right back there. Our stock market is very close to a number that was even higher. Does everybody have your 401k ready? Because it's going through the roof.
Yeah,
We're going to have the best year we've ever had. And we're going to have tax cuts, not tax increases. They want to increase your taxes. They want to increase your taxes so they can spend it on the Green New Deal. It's another beauty. I could not sit idly by and watch career politicians like Joe Biden continue bleeding this country dry. And that's what it is. You know, you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But when you have a kid that follows his father, and by the way, take a look at his brother. His brother all of a sudden is building a big housing development in Iraq. Have you ever built a development before? No, I haven't. Take a look at the whole family. It's a corrupt family. Joe Biden personifies the selfless and...
Isn't he a real estate developer in foreign countries? Isn't...
corrupt globalists who got...
Are we all trapped in an episode of Arrested Development? And Lindsay is Ivanka?
rich and powerful at your...
Eric is Buster. Don is Job. There is no George Michael. We need a George Michael. Am I George Michael?
Expense. Take a look at the people that are funding his campaign. People assume that they'd be funding my campaign. I don't want them.
No, just Michael. No, Barron. Barron is George Michael. A 6'7" George Michael. I'm not saying anything to disparage Barron. I'm glad he's over the COVID. Good for him.
We don't want him. We never needed them. We don't want them. But they betrayed American workers to
I think he was talking about Joe Biden's brother building a development in Iraq.
disparage American values and crushed our middle class. For decades, Biden and his cronies laughed while they shipped millions of your jobs to their friends in foreign countries, in countries that you've never even heard of. They lived behind gated walls and they flooded your communities with illegal immigration, deadly drugs, MS-13, countries that you've never even heard of. They live behind gated walls and they flood that you've never even heard of. They live behind gated foreign countries, in countries that you've never millions of your jobs.
By the way, I've heard of just about all countries. Come on. What's going on? Why did it do that? Here we go.
To their friends in foreign countries, in countries that you've never even heard of. They live behind gated walls and they flooded your communities with illegal immigration, deadly drugs, MS-13 savages that assault, rape, and murder innocent Americans.
They live
forced
behind
our fellow citizens to
because they're libs. They live behind.
live in crumbling inner cities while they spend trillions of dollars on never-ending foreign wars. They just never ended. But, you know, we're bringing all our soldiers back home. You know that. We've been doing it for a long time. And it's not easy. Not easy. The military and
Is that even... Can you say never ended? They just never ended? Because that puts it in the past tense. Isn't it always correct to say they just never end? Because do you see what I'm saying, guy? Am I going... Woo!
industrial complex. Not the easiest thing, but we're bringing them back home. We're almost finished in Afghanistan coming in. We're down to a small number coming home by the end of the year. Hopefully the end
Hold everything, guys. Hold everything. Breaking news. Holy crap. This is big, guys. Dexter is coming back for 10 more episodes.
of the year shortly thereafter. In Syria, we're out, totally out. And by the way, before I did this, we crushed 100% of the ISIS caliphate.
The Kurds did. They lost 11,000 men.
100%. We crushed 100%. We have the greatest military in the world. And by the way, we have built the greatest military in the world.
That's how we got it. Yeah.
So I just tell you from Iowa, you know, you're a very...
Yeah, so you can't say, Linda, do you agree with me? You can't say never ended. It never ended. Because it had to have ended if you say ended, because it's past.
Powerful state politically. You're a big state to me, big in your heart. But you have a tremendous influence and a tremendous power, and you've never let me down. You just came in and
Never
we
gonna
won
give
by so
you
much.
up.
You know, they say
Never
every
gonna
Republican
run
wins by 1
around
point. I think
and
I won
hurt
by
you.
11, right? 11. That
Never
was
gonna
early
say
in the night.
goodbye.
Remember that?
Never gonna tell a lie.
They said
Never
Donald
gonna
Trump
run
just won the
around.
state of Iowa.
Desert
And they
you.
said, man, he won by 11 points. What's going on? That was just the beginning. Then we won Ohio. We won Ohio by 8 points. They said, what's going on? You know, it's one thing you win a state, but when you win by a lot, and that was the beginning of something. And I'll tell you what, we have more enthusiasm now than we ever did 4 years ago. There really is true. And we have great poll numbers, although, you know, you see a lot of the fake poll numbers. They'll do anything they can. They're called
I wanted to show you guys my poll.
suppression polls.
My suppression poll.
Yeah, there they go. Look
I call it my depression poll.
at the red lights. They start to go off as I start to point. You know, in one way, they want the
Oh, hey, if you watch the fake broadcast earlier, from the original Iowa broadcast, they showed the cameras and none of them had red lights.
ratings. In another way, they don't want to have the ratings, and you're telling CNN that they're a fraud in their broadcasting.
Is anybody? Hold on,
That was
I'll
one
tell
of
you.
the greatest. That was one of the greatest evenings ever.
We're going back to 2016 again, are we? We're living that again?
There are those that say it was the most exciting evening in the history of television, highest rated evening in the history of television.
It was not.
You know what?
It was not
the
even close.
We have coming up on November 3rd is actually more important. It's actually.
No one is covering the rally right now. It is not on any of the news networks. It's probably on OAN, which, by the way, you can get for free right now through Cloud TV with a K. So you can do that till the end of the year if you want. It's actually worth a laugh. Hey, Dirt Dog, welcome to the chat room. Keep chatting, please. I make money every time that you chat. But do us a favor, come up with something substantive. Make a comment on what you're seeing, or give us a reason why you think Trump 2020, American flag, American flag, American flag, American flag, American flag, American flag. Don't just spew out talking points, if that's even a talking point. Political mottos? What would you even call that? What's the name for that, guys? I can't think right now.
In 2016, you voted to fire the failed and decrepit political class, and you elected an outsider as Yeldon. In 2016, you voted to fire the failed and decrepit political class, and you elected an outsider as your president, and I finally put America first.
Dirt Dog, are you talking to Trump giving away all the money to the farmers like a socialist? Or funding the military like a socialist, Dirt Dog? Is that what the socialist money that you're giving away, talking about? $28 billion. He gave $28 billion from the U.S. Treasury to the farmers as a socialist boost, which honestly is great because he caused it by having the tariffs on China and going into a massive debt with China and a huge trade deficit. So that's, yeah, absolutely.
It's called Make America Great Again. It's windy out here. If you can wear the hat, I can wear the hat.
They're cheering a hat.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're cheering a hat. I'm also cheering Ruth Ann's mom.
Should I take
She
off
rocks.
the tie or not? What do you think? I don't know. Maybe yes?
Oh my God, he's taking off his tie. Ah! Ah! I can't. If we get time afterwards, well, I'm just going to play this. Mute this idiot. If we get time afterwards, oh, here he's going to talk again. Don't do the shirt, for the love of God.
Better.
Don't do the...
That feels better. That feels good. Now we can all just relax and have a good time.
Putting the red hat on really accents his brown on his face. Wow. It just really makes the orange pop.
No, but it's great to be with you. Seriously, we've had a great history here together.
Dirt Dog, tell me why he's going to win. Last time I thought he was win. Last time I thought he was going to win. I was absolutely correct. This time I think he's going to lose in a landslide. The fact that people are lining up for 8 to 10 hours to vote in Democratic districts, he has woken up the American electorate, and they are not happy with him. But, you know, if you're welcome to your opinion, you could be right. I don't know. I'm almost always right. I could be wrong this time.
What we've done for you and what we've done for the farmers and what we've done for everything. You know, 2 weeks ago, you had the largest order of corn in the history of our country, right?
It was now 8 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
8 weeks ago.
You had the largest order of soybeans in the history of our country and the largest order of beef. But you know why? Because China wants to keep me happy, that's why. It was from China because they know what they've done to us should never have been allowed. They could have stopped it. They didn't stop it. They should have stopped it. The only reason I'm your president is because the previous administration did a poor job. So poor, in fact.
Hold on, everybody. We have a new producer. Colleen just upgraded to a producer on the live stream. Thank you, Colleen. So Colleen is now producer Colleen. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Colleen, for supporting this nonsense. And if you'd like to become a producer or even just become part of the Dollar Shame Club, $1, $5, $50 makes you a producer. $10,000, I'll come make you a nice apple pie. I'll learn beforehand too. I'll practice. And one of those, like with the lattice on top. I'll do it for $10,000. Did I say whatever I said? You can go back. I think it was $10,000. I would totally come to your house and make apple pie for you. And if someone, seriously, don't do that, because nobody wants my apple pie. What I'll do is I'll stop by Costco on the way. So thank you very much for that. If you'd like to support, if you'd like to contribute to this thing, what you do is go to kevinleefather.com, and that brings you to Patreon, and then you can decide how much to give per month. And hopefully, for the love of God, we've only got one more month of watching these rallies. I hope that the live stream is out of business January, what is it, 21st this time around? Whatever it is.
Fact that I said I'm going to run for president.
What level gets you dying? Oh, somebody was asking a question, then it disappeared from my chat. 48,000.
And you know what? If they did a good job, I wouldn't have run. And if they did a good job, I guess I wouldn't have won. When you think, I wouldn't have run, and I wouldn't have won.
He
But
just
they
found
were
a rhyme.
So bad,
He's
and
so funny.
It turns out they were so totally corrupt.
He's a
We
poet,
did
and he
not
doesn't even
come
realize
this
it.
far to overcome this much and fight this hard, only to surrender our
And that joke is from Kevin Lee Daughter.
country back to the depraved.
No, I'm planning to continue. I mean, as long as he's in office. I don't know. I mean, after this, we'll still have the Republican Congress and the Republican Senate, and we'll see what happens.
Washington swamp. You know, when I would say drain the swamp, I used to say it, drain the swamp, and people liked it. I hated the expression. I hated it. I just said, this is a hokey expression. And I put it in one speech, the place went crazy. I said, I'm starting to like that expression. Then I put it in another speech, and they went crazy. I said, I really like it. I really like it. But when I say drain the swamp, I had no idea the swamp was that dirty, that disgusting, and that deep. It's true. If I don't sound...
Sweetheart, it's a metaphor. So you can make it as dirty and disgusting, as deep as you want in your head. It can be forever deep. It can be as deep as people like they've never seen before. Whatever you want. It doesn't exist. It's figurative.
Like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician, thank God. And I don't want to insult our great politicians because you have to.
Holy smokes. Hold on. Someone just said something about their Patreon. I just fixed my Patreon, Ruth Ann said. Someone charged my card $6,000 from Dalton Distilleries last month, and I had to cancel this card. Just had to make sure gets my monthly donut. Oh, thank you, Ruth Ann. That's very nice. We've all had credit cards hacked and stuff like that. Honestly, guys, I don't look at who's giving me what. I try and give you guys the right credit when I go through and I upgrade the credits. Whatever you give, I find it incredibly generous. For those of you who can't give anything but want to contribute, just share the broadcast. Say a nice thing about me on the Twitters or something. I don't see all of it, but I appreciate every single word of it. So I'm glad you got that sorted out, Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann, you can go ahead and turn off the broadcast for just a second here. Party on Friday, guys. Okay, Ruth Ann, back in. Okay, moving on.
Some great ones with us tonight. But if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you harder than ever. And I tell you what, I fight for you harder than any president has ever fought for anyone.
Who are you fighting? What's this fight about?
I love it because we're making tremendous.
What about that stimulus money? What about that? How about fighting for that instead of saying we're out? We're going to concentrate on the election.
Progress.
Or no, sorry, they're going to concentrate on SCOTUS.
We're making tremendous progress. And the fact is that no administration in their first 3.5 years has ever done as much.
Killed as 221,714. If you guys are wondering what that number is, That is the number officially, not from Johns Hopkins, but from World in Data, which just gets the numbers a little bit ahead of time. Here it comes again. This is the number of Americans we've lost to COVID. The current number in South Korea, who got the virus on the same day, is about 400.
This administration has done. You take a look at the list. And you know, it's amazing because they always challenge you. They challenge you on everything. They never even challenged me on that statement. I make that statement all the time.
Dirt Dog, the Democrats already passed the stimulus package. It's called the HEROES Act. It's from May 12th, and that's what, 185 days now? Somebody, you can do the math. Dirt Dog, go look up the HEROES Act. It's all in there. And it was a lot more money than what the Republicans are willing to give. The reason the stimulus money is being held up is because the Republicans won't even get on board.
And they just stand and they say, they grit their teeth, they say he's right. We
What?
might hate him, but they say, never even challenged me on that statement. Because they always challenge you, they challenge you on everything. They never even challenged me on that statement. I make that statement all the time. They just stand and they say, they grit their teeth, they say he's right. We might hate.
Because it doesn't mean I've accomplished more than any president in the first 3. It doesn't mean anything. It's completely subjective. Under my leadership, America is up 28%. Okay.
Hate him, but they say he's right.
Yeah,
Right now, I'm fighting to eradicate the virus, rebuild the economy, and save our country from the radical left. And that's exactly what we're doing. As a candidate, Joe Biden has made yet another corrupt bargain in exchange.
Dirt Dog, you don't know what you're talking about. The HEROES Act is, none of the money from the HEROES Act has been allocated yet. So I know that I know what you're trying to say because I'm in the right-wing bubble as well. I watch all the media. I read the Breitbart, but you're wrong. So I don't know if you're just ill-informed or, and I should say if, how do I say this, guys? Dirt Dog, if you got special classes, if people tell you you're special all the time, I'm not going to, I'm not trying to, I'm just going to say this, Dirt Dog. I think just from reading what you've tweeted there, I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope that you're enjoying yourself. Okay, there you go. The CARES Act. Okay, yeah. So, guys, I can't tell. I think people know what I'm trying to say here, but I'm just going to move on. But anyway, Dirt Dog, I like the fact that you're actually using terms. Work on that. Go from there, and you'll eventually. I can't. It's hard to describe. You know, when you first move to a new town, or if you've never moved, you go on vacation somewhere, you're in an area that you've never been to before, and every turn is just like your brain is trying to process, oh, I got to turn here, I got to turn left at Nixon, I got to come down to Main Street, and and there's a Dairy Queen, and why are there still Dairy Queens? And so your brain is processing all this stuff, and then after you've driven it about 10, 12 times, it's all just in there. It just sort of a door opens up, and it just becomes, I know exactly where I am, and it's almost like you can see yourself on a map. That's what you get to if you start reading and really paying attention to what's going on. You become acclimated to it. Acclimation is the wrong word, though, because that's less processing than what I'm trying to get to. But thank you very much for the word, Stephanie. That is the word of the day, acclimation. Drink up, everybody.
For his party's nomination. He has handed control to the socialists and Marxists and the lunatic left-wing fringe that are really running that party. He's not running it. Let's face it, Joe.
Yeah, but I'm thinking assimilate's a good word as well at random. Yes, but less Borgish.
Was shot, okay? Whether you like it or not. We can all.
Well, it's the best word I can think of is like an afflatus. That's the word I'm looking for. But like the heavens opening up, and suddenly you come to a realization, a revelation. But it's an afflatus from God. From God. We're on a mission from God.
All be nice. It's going to be my turn someday. It's even going to be your turn someday, my friends.
I totally have lost this. Speaking of afflatus from God, the hell is he talking about now? An epiphany, yes, but epiphany is slightly different than afflatus.
Someday. But you know, when it is your turn, you can't be president. One thing I've learned, President Xi of China, he's 100%. Putin of Russia, 100%. Kim Jong-un, by the way, whatever happened to that war we were supposed to be in?
He just created one of the world's largest nuclear missiles. It's an ICBM, and he can put, they suspect, 4 to 5 warheads on it, which can get past the U.S. defenses. That's what's happening with Kim Jong-un. My God. He probably doesn't even know that. They probably have not even told him what's happening in North Korea. Or they have, and he just hasn't read it.
Kim Jong-un of North Korea, 100%. These people are sharp and they're smart. Joe has lost it. In his best day, he wasn't a smart man. Everybody knows that.
We don't know that the missile was fake, KB. In fact, I suspect that it is real. I know they've put out fake equipment before, but why bother modifying the trucks? It's tremendously expensive. They've got 11 axle trucks, 17 axle trucks, and I'm getting my numbers confused. 16, 57, whatever it is. And by the way, the fact that they've got all these trucks, I'm going to dig up that footage. The fact that they've got these trucks is indicative of sanctions just not working. The fact that they can get the equipment to put these trucks together and the missiles together, this is not stuff that comes natively out of North Korea. This is stuff that they're getting from countries, so I'm guessing China, whatever the word is, they are getting around the sanctions. So Trump's plan ain't working.
But Joe is gone. If he wins, the radical left will be running the country. They're addicted to power, and God help us if they get it.
God.
We'll never be the same country, and we will never be able to recover, and we are on a basis. And I'll tell you something, the country was coming together. I was telling a very good reporter today that our country was coming together.
Did he do an interview today, guys?
Because we were having such success that I was being called by people that normally I wouldn't be speaking to too much. They don't want me, I don't want them. But we had the best employment numbers in history, African American, Hispanic American numbers, women, Asian, high school diploma, without high school diploma, colleges, PhDs. We had the best numbers in every category. 160 million jobs, we were never even close to that. We were at 160 million jobs. And it was all coming together. People, let's get together, let's talk. You know, it's like splitting up the riches, really, and in a positive way, splitting up the riches. And what happened?
Do you guys remember in January all coming together and saying, hey, let's talk and split up the riches? I've forgotten that part of history.
What happened is we then got hit with the plague. And now it's back to the drawing boards, but we're going to have a strong V. The third quarter is going to be it's going to be right before the election, before the November 3rd, although a lot of people will have voted by that time. Get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. Got to get out and vote. But we were really coming together because that's, you know, look, ultimately we want to come together. Everybody come together. And we were really coming together.
That's what Stormy kept saying, but it didn't happen.
We got hit by this horrible situation. Could have been stopped. China stopped it from going into the rest of China, but they didn't stop it from coming out and going to Europe and the United States and the rest of the world, 188 countries. So we're now putting it together. We had it done, and now we're doing it again. And next year will be even stronger than last year. Last year was the best year we've ever had. And this coming year will be even better than last year. Unless somebody comes along and says, let's quadruple your taxes, which is what they want to do. They want to raise your taxes. They want to go with this ridiculous Green New Deal, which, by the way, their original price, $100 trillion, you couldn't do it for that. If we did great every year for 100 years, everything was perfect, right? No nothing, no recessions, no anything. You couldn't make $100 trillion. These people are crazy, and they actually mean it. You know, they actually mean it. So we're going to get it going to a level that nobody can ever turn course on us. Nobody can ever change. You know, I tell the story for years as a student of economies. I just love it. I love watching it. I love doing it. And I love seeing the results because the results have been so incredible. But as a student, I used to hear for years, for 10 years, 2019, China, because look, let's face it, China's 1.4 billion people, we're 325. not including illegal immigrants that are in the country, frankly. And we don't even know what that number. I said, how many do we have? We have no idea, sir. Well, I have an idea. By the way, our southern border is now stronger than it's ever been. But we have three.
So he has an idea of how many illegal aliens there are, because he just knows things.
325, 330 million people. But for years I heard that China will overtake us as the world's largest economy in the year 2019. You've all heard it, I think, right? Yes? He's a very smart-looking guy. You're loaded with money, I'll bet. Look, that's why he's in the front row. He's in the front row, and he didn't have to stand here for 3 days to get there. I can tell he's got. But, right, 2019 that China was going to overtake us. Well, you go back 6 months, 7 months, not only weren't they overtaking, we were beating them by leaps and bounds and getting bigger and bigger and growing and taxing them and taking in billions and billions in tariffs. And when they targeted Iowa and the farmers of this country and ranchers and others, I said, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. And I put a 25% tariff on everything. And I gave a lot of the money, although I don't want to say it too loudly, $28 billion. I gave you 16 and 12. I said to Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture, great guy, he knows more about farms. I said, Sonny, what's the number? He said, 2 years ago, sir, 12 billion they hit us for. And last year, 16 billion. I said, that's okay. We're going to put a 25% tariff. The farmers are going to get 12 billion, and then they're going to get 16 billion, okay? And we're going to give that money to our farmers, and that got our farmers even.
And the vast majority of the money went to 4% of the farmers, the big farms, because the money was handed out based on ownership, and like each owner would get $10,000 and things like that. And of course, it worked out that the big farms, not big pharma, but big farms, ended up getting the vast majority of the money.
In fact, I shouldn't tell you this because they don't like this, but some of the farmers were making more money the way they was doing it than by working their asses off, all right? They were very, very
These are the
happy.
North Korean missiles.
But no, we took care of our farmers. No other president's going to do that. No other. That's why China got away with all of this stuff for years. And we had plenty of money left over after the $28 billion. It went into the U.S. Treasury. But they got away with it because they threatened
11
a
axles.
president like Obama. We're going to target your farmers. We're going to target the middle of our country. And Obama would say, oh, Betty, we better not get involved. I said differently. I said, if you do it, then what we're going to do is we're going to tariff your goods, and we're going to give a lot of that money to the people that you're targeting. And you know, the thing that most impresses me about Iowa, Nebraska, and a lot of other states, if you look, by the way, Minnesota was so great, all of them, every one of them. Wisconsin was incredible. They never came to me and said, sir, you can't let this happen. They're stopping ordering. They're not ordering from us. They never said it. You know what they said? The president is right. At some point, we have to put up a stand. And I didn't hear one, even from fake CNN. They put people on television that said, I know it's not good, but the president is right. The president is right. You did the right thing. Because otherwise, it puts me in a bad negotiating position. You can't really negotiate. You know, it's tough. It's tough. I'll never forget that about the farmers. It's incredible. The other thing I won't forget, you don't mind if I go off script. This stuff is enough with crazy Hunter Biden and making millions of dollars a day. He made it because of his great intellect. No, but you know the other thing? Where's Hunter? Is Hunter here tonight, by the way? Hunter, congratulations on making a lot of money last year. You know the other thing I remember? In the White House, we had 36 farmers come to see me. I'll never forget it. And they were getting hit really hard. This was 2.5 years ago, early. And they came in to see me, almost all farmers. And they said, sir, we're hurting, but you do.
This has got to be a fake story. Just the start. I don't even know where he's going with this, but it's a fake story.
Doing the right thing, sir. I'll never forget this meeting. It's early. I have pictures of it. Many from Iowa, but from other states, but many from Iowa. And I never saw, because everyone's always asking me for money. I want money here. I want countries want money. Our so-called allies are always asking for money. please defend us, even though then they rip us off on trade. You know, we defend them and then they rip us off on trade. They're always asking for money. So the farmers are in.
The allies aren't asking for money. They don't do that. It's not a thing.
And I said to him, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a big thing. I'm going to get you a lot of money, and I'm going to do for tariffs, and I'm going to do this to China. This is very early on in the strategy. And I'm going to subsidize you guys. You're going to be so happy. And I used a terrible word. They said, sir, may I speak? Yes, you can. What do you want to say? We don't want subsidies, sir.
They're asking for permission to speak in this story. May I speak, sir? Yes. Yes, you may.
All we want is a level playing field. We don't want anything. All we want. True. Right? It's true. I never heard that. Most people, they don't care. Call it subsidy. Call it give me cash. Just give me money. The farmer said and by the way, I could see there was like a chill in the room. I mentioned that word. I said, did I say something wrong? The farmers are unbelievable. They're the heart of this nation. They said, we don't want subsidy. I'll never forget it. Sir, we don't want subsidy. We don't want that. We just want a level playing field, sir. We'll beat anybody. We want a level. And it's to this day, I tell that story all the time because I don't hear that. Most people, they don't care. You can call it anything you want. You call subsidy, you call it anything you want. I just think
Socialism.
you people are incredible, okay? That's it. Enough. Enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of that, or I'm going to make him cry, and he hasn't cried in 40 years, that guy. One of the most important issues for Iowa
You're welcome,
is
Chris.
the whole thing that happened with ethanol. They were killing ethanol. And Joe Biden's vowed to abolish fossil fuels. He supports all of the outside, this
Does Trump know what ethanol is?
crusade to eliminate gas-powered cars. And his running mate sponsors the insane. She's the most liberal. By the way, did Mike Pence beat her?
He's having trouble finishing a sentence.
You know the expression in boxing? Or, as my friend...
I don't know that Trump understands that ethanol is from grain and that that the ethanol farmers would love it if trucks and cars ran off of ethanol, and that Biden's plan to get rid of petroleum eventually is good for the farmers because the grain makes the ethanol and they grow the grain. I don't know if he knows what ethanol is. I could figure it out if I went back, but anyway.
Dana would say UFC. If that were a fight, they would have stopped it, right? Mike Pence, we love Mike Pence, and he loves Iowa too. He loves Iowa. He just left.
Wait, they stop UFC flights if a fly lands on someone's head and it doesn't move for 2 minutes? Seems kind of like a wussy sport to me.
The Biden-Harris platform will demolish Iowa ethanol.
The what?
The Biden-Harris platform will demolish Iowa ethanol. You know that, wiping out the entire industry. And we fought hard for it. We went
No, that's not at all how ethanol works.
through the whole thing where we had no demand because of the pandemic. And we all fought hard to keep it going and keep the ethanol going. And we did the 12 months. I did 12 months. Remember, it was 8 months. I said, why not 12? And they couldn't give me a very good answer. But I made it year-round and 15%, right? Up from the 10, 15%. And it's great stuff. And when the market comes back, which is coming back, but in the meantime, you have inexpensive gasoline. That's not so bad, right? That's not so bad. Because nobody ever thought they'd see gasoline with a 2 in the front of it and less. And we've saved all of our energy.
No, under Obama, the average price was in the low 2s. When he left office, I remember grabbing a list of all the stuff that I knew in 4 years was going to come up because it came up 4 years ago with, this is gas prices and home heating prices and all this stuff. And gas was, it's just above $2.
Energy jobs. And whether we like it or not, when we are having problem with energy, I called Russia and I called Saudi Arabia, and they reduced production by more than 10 million barrels a day, and our entire energy was saved.
$2.12. Obama's last year in office, according to AAA, and that's from Daniel Dale.
All over the world, frankly. They're not doing it for us, but they're doing it for, let's say, everybody. And we have an incredible country, and we saved our energy industry, our energy jobs, and we are energy independent, and it's a beautiful thing. And by the way, I also made a little promise most of you won't understand. For those people in the ethanol world, you can use the pumps. Okay, do you understand that? You can use the pumps. In other words, you don't have to go out and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on new pumps. Because, you know, with the additional ethanol, the additional power, some people say, oh, make them buy new pumps. No, I don't want you to buy new pumps. You don't have to. So for those people that understood what I just said, you know what I'm talking about.
Probably has something to do with the rubber and the pumps, and if you put in too much ethanol in the mixture, it may degrade the rubber at some of the pumps. That might be what this is about, but whatever it is, he's misunderstanding it.
Talking about, right? Using the pumps, that'll be okay. To defend our rights and our Constitution.
I mean, no one says, oh, you got to buy all new pumps, unless there's a reason to buy all new pumps. For example, with biodiesel, you can't use the lower grade of rubber because the biodiesel will clean it, will basically erode the pipes. Biodiesel is wonderful, won't work in some vehicles because it will degrade the rubber. You have to upgrade the rubber hoses because it's cheap rubber.
I nominated Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court.
That's the United States Supreme Court right there.
Right? And I'll tell you, I don't mind running against Sleepy Joe, but I wouldn't want to run against her right now. She has to promise. Please promise me, Amy, you'll never run. No, she's been great. She's so outsmarting these people with bad intention. You look at some of the questions that are being asked, and it's so obvious. These are not great chess players, let's face it. Let's face it, they're not great, but they're horrible, just horrible, nasty, and she handles it like nothing. She's a great intellect, and one of the reasons she has a highly respected professor who's been teaching for many years, said she was the single greatest student that he's ever had. And that sold me. I believe in that kind of thing. It's called intelligence. I believe in intelligence. But I just want to, having spoken to her in a few days, I want to just say that we made the right choice, right, with Amy. And speaking about making the right choice, you made the right choice a long time ago with a man named Senator Chuck Grassley. And you made the...
Speaking of Amy's and Chuck and McConnell, Amy McGrath is pulling up in the latest polls against McConnell in Kentucky, which, I mean, that's a serious Mitch. That she was down by 12 points, and hold on, I'll pull up a recent poll.
The right choice, and you're going to do it again, I hope, because she's great. Joni Ernst. And they're right now in Washington fighting to confirm our great new justice, our future justice of the United States Supreme Court. Joni has been fantastic, and she's been fighting for Iowa values for a long time. She'll call me, sir, can we do justice of the United States Supreme Court? Joni has been fantastic, and she's been fighting for Iowa values for a long time. She'll call me, sir, can we do this? Nobody called me more on ethanol than Joni and Chuck. In fact,
Joni's having trouble. Yeah.
Tell him I'm not in. Just tell him I'm not here. I can't take it anymore, Joni. But that's what a good senator is. They want to keep your state going. They want to keep our country going. They love our country. They love our state that they represent. So Joni Ernst, you got to get her in. And Chuck Grassley.
Greenfield, as of October 11th, Greenfield was up by 4 points in a real poll, CBS News YouGov. Greenfield 47, Ernst 43.
See, we don't have to worry about him. He'll be around forever. He's great. You know what I love about Chuck Grassley? He's got that voice, that great voice. Even when he's being nice, he sounds like the toughest guy, right? And he's being nice. And he looked at Comey, remember, the corrupt FBI director. And he looks at Comey. He looks at Comey, corrupt guy. and he just said, "Did you leak?" And Comey joked, "Yes, I did. He said in the
No.
House.
No, he didn't.
And let's see what happens to him. But I'll never forget Chuck Grassley, and he didn't mean it to be mean. He just sort of like got that rough voice. "Did you leak?" What? Yes, I gave it to my college professor friend from Columbia, yes. Remember that? We love Chuck. What a piece of work he is. If Democrats win, they will pack the Supreme Court with radical left judges who would shred our Second Amendment. And believe me, if they win, your Second Amendment is gone, okay? They'll empower violent mobs and shield deadly criminals and terrorists. Very simple. Joe Biden refuses to even answer questions unpacking the Supreme Court. How about this? They go up to him, "Do you want to pack the court?" "I'm not going to answer that question." You know why? Because they don't ask it if he doesn't, me.
Guys, somebody find me that Kentucky poll that had McGrath down by 2 points. I heard about it, but I didn't see it, so I'm not sure where to find it, and I can't find it. So I'd like to back up my own knowledge on that if it's possible. So if somebody knows what poll I'm talking about, let me know.
It would be like, forget it. But they say, "You were going to pack the court, sir." I'm not going to answer that because I don't want to say. "Oh, okay, good. Next question." Can you believe it? This is the essence of our country. We can't allow this to happen. And the other thing is, they don't ask the second. I put up a list of 45.
Again, the question was from Peter Alexander. "Sir, what do you say that to Americans that are fearful right now?" "I'd say you're a terrible reporter." So, yeah, sometimes people don't answer questions.
Great, brilliant, conservative, in our case, justices that go by the Constitution as written.
No comment on packing the court? Yeah, if you want to add more justices, absolutely. Jefferson did it. Jackson did it. Did Lincoln do it? David, you were saying something about Lincoln do it. I haven't even researched it. But yeah, it's totally legal. Hell, Kiefer Sutherland did it. I have comments on the Second Amendment. What are we talking about? I have no problem with the Second Amendment if applied properly. You can't have a tank. You can't have a bazooka. You can't have a flamethrower. These are all regulated by the Second Amendment, doggy. But yeah, if they want to pack the court, they can pack the court. It's not even court packing. It's just how the Constitution works. I don't know why you hate the Constitution so much, Dirt Dog. It is the founding basis of our country. Was it the original? No, it wasn't. The Founding Fathers first did the Articles of Confederation, and that was terrible. That was a huge, massive failures. The Founding Fathers certainly were not geniuses. They got it wrong, and they corrected their mistakes, which I hope you learn from.
Etc., etc., okay? So, he's got to put up the name of justices or judges, whoever he'd pick, to become a justice of the Supreme Court.
He doesn't. Remember, okay, so this is such hypocrisy. Trump is saying that Biden has to put up the name of judges that he would nominate to the Supreme Court. No, he doesn't. Why? Because when Trump put up his list originally in 2016, neither Gorsuch or Kavanaugh was on that list. So it means nothing. Here are some judges that I will nominate to this. No, he didn't. It was just a lie. It makes no difference.
Court. He's not doing that.
Designated survivor.
They're
Thank
not
you.
asking that question. They don't ask. Did you see the NBC?
Yeah, judges, we haven't always had 9 Supreme Court justices. It's gone up and down and up again and down again. It's fine. And whatever a president decides to do. If a president wanted to nominate 45 different justices, and the Senate decided to advise and consent, completely constitutional. That's how this country works. If you got a problem with it, you got to go back and talk to Thomas Jefferson.
Thing last week where they had an NBC town hall. It was designed for a child, okay?
By the way, Trump is now doing an NBC town hall, and I have to say, as a caveat, I should say disclaimer, I am an NBC employer. I employ NBC. An NBC employee. I've done shows on NBC, and I still get checks for them. Taking that with a grain of salt, there's a whole bunch of people working for NBC who say, terrible decision. Trump chickened out of the debate, the second debate. Said, I'm not going to do it. Once he found out it was going to be virtual. while he was still testing positive for the coronavirus. So he chickened out of the second debate. And then ABC said, Joe said, I still want to do a town hall. ABC said, oh, we'll do a town hall with you. Joe said, okay. I had already planned to do a town hall that night, so we'll do a town hall. And then NBC said to Trump, okay, hey, we'll do a town hall with you at the same time. So now the American audience has to choose between watching Trump or Biden. They could have just done a 9 o'clock and a 10 o'clock, an 8 o'clock and an 8:30. They could have worked this out. They didn't. I'm not happy with NBC, and I don't know anyone who is. And so Trump will trounce Biden in the ratings because, of course, we all want to watch the train wreck.
When I get in, they ask me things that nobody ever even contemplated could be thought of. This guy, they're asking him these questions. Nobody can believe it. In fact, NBC took a lot of heat. They took a lot of heat.
What? Wait, did he just say the questions couldn't be contemplated of or thought of?
Contemplated could be at an NBC town hall. It was designed for a child, okay? When I get in, they ask me things that nobody ever even...
Wasn't he just on a CNN town hall? Did he do it? Was it Lester Holt? Did he do one with Lester Holt? I don't even remember which town hall that was.
Contemplated could be... When I get in, they ask me things that nobody ever even contemplated could be thought of. This guy, they're asking him these questions. Nobody can believe it. In fact, NBC took a lot of heat. They took a lot of heat.
Can be contemplated, can be thought of.
Biden's agenda would be a catastrophe for Iowa seniors.
What was the town hall? Who did the town hall with Biden last week, guys? It's probably like 6 weeks ago. I have no idea what he's talking about. I mean, I do know what he's talking about. But someone did the town hall a week or two ago with Biden, and he's been saying that Biden got baby questions ever since. Somebody, I can look it up. I got a computer.
Everybody knows that. For years, Biden tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. Do you remember that? You do know he wanted to cut your Social Security and your Medicare. Now Biden is pledging mass amnesty and federal health care for illegal aliens, decimating Medicare and destroying your Social Security. And the problem is we all have a heart. I say it all the time. I'd love to take care of everybody all over the world. The problem is our country can't afford it. And if you start saying we're going to give free education, we're going to give you Medicare, we're going to give you health care, we're going to give you everything, our country will be flooded with millions and millions of people that are going to come from all over the world. They will decimate our country. You can't do it. Biden cares more about illegal aliens than he does for your senior citizens. It's true. And remember when they asked a question at the debate where the Democrats were up there? You had all these Democrats. They started off.
Yeah, it was MSNBC, not NBC. It was MSNBC.
26. And in fact, I said there's no way they pick Kamala.
ABC, George Stephanopoulos did Trump a few weeks back. Remember when he talked about the herd mentality?
Because she treated him worse than anybody else. And her poll numbers were dropping like a rock, right? But they asked, who is going to give money, health care, to illegal aliens? And they all raised their hand. Remember, Joe?
Dirt Doggy, AR-15s should be regulated. I have no problem with that whatsoever. You should have to take training courses and make sure that you're mentally stable in order to own an assault rifle and be part of a well-regulated militia. So as long as you're signed up for the militia and you're well-regulated, then absolutely, you should be able to own AR-15s.
He's looking around. He didn't understand the question.
He's gotten really quiet. Hold on, guys.
You know, at least he has an excuse because he has no clue what the hell they're asking. But do you remember his position? He was like this. Their hands are all up. We're going to give all our money away. Forget about all you people. That's a big crowd, by the way. Look at that. Show it, please. Turn those cameras, please. That's a beautiful crowd. That's beautiful. But remember, Joe, so he's standing there. He's going to give health care to illegal immigrants, people that come into the country illegally, in other words, right? They come in illegally. And under a plan, they have the manifesto. They want to give them a lawyer. That's what we need is more lawyers now, okay? They want to give them a lawyer. They want to give them education. They want to give them health care. But they asked a question, and I said, wow, because I think they had like 26 people originally, but every one of them raised their hand, including Sleepy Joe. And what happened is Joe's like this, everybody other hand, and Joe, you could see he's, for 47 years, he's got the itch because he's like, He knows this isn't going to work. He's saying to himself, because, you know, there's still something left, not much. But he's saying to himself, there's a natural instinct, right? A political instinct. And his shoulder went up, and then his hand. So I don't know. I don't think I'm even going to hold it to him.
Shall we take a look at that, kids? Here it is. This is, and remember what we just saw. His shoulder went up, his shoulder, and then his hand. Here's Joe Biden at the debate. Wow. Oh man, was Trump on? Look, just watch his shoulder go way up, and then his hand. Hold on, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see how right Trump is on this. Hold on, I'm going to go close up on Joe. Here he comes. Here comes Joe. Yeah. Wow, see? Look at his weird posture. He's bouncing all over the place. Wow, Trump really nailed that one. Let's go back to how Trump saw it. Trump, how did it happen? Show us again.
He's saying to himself, because, you know, there's still something left, not much.
There's not
but he's
much
saying
left.
To himself, there's a natural instinct, right? A political instinct. And
to put his shoulder up like that.
Up, and then his hand.
Did like that. Clearly.
So I don't know. I don't think I'm even going to hold it to him. I'm not going to.
He's got that nailed down.
Hold him. I get enough. How about the no fracking? We will not frack. Do you understand me? We will not. Then he gets a nomination.
Never said that.
Goes to Pennsylvania, where they are reliant on energy and fracking and the jobs. 100, probably 900.
Dirt Dog just said something correct. Rioting isn't legal. That is correct, Dirt Dog. Oh, great. Good job, Doggy. You're getting better. You finally said something that makes some sense, so good for you.
To 1 million jobs, right? Goes there. The day after he says he's not fracking, he says, we will frack. We will frack. And they don't hold it to him. If I ever did that, it would be the end.
And they don't hold it to him? They don't hold him to it.
And goes there. The day after he says he's not fracking, he says, we will frack. We will frack. And they don't hold it to him. If I ever did that, it would be the end. I
want to go back. I want to capture this whole.
Remember Joe, so he's standing there. They're all up. We're going to. Up there.
Sorry, guys, I'm watching this again.
From all over the world.
And you have no choice in the matter.
Our country. You can't do it. Biden cares more about illegal aliens than he does for your senior citizens. It's true. And remember when they asked a question at the debate where the Democrats were up there? You had all these Democrats. They started off with 26. And in fact, I said, there's no way they picked Kamala because she treated him worse than anybody else. And her poll numbers were dropping like a rock, right?
Okay, I'm back. Dirt Dog, there's protesters and there's rioters. There's two different things. It's not. Here's peaceful protesters going out and they protest. Anybody who starts a riot and participates in a riot is a rioter. This is not difficult stuff, Doggy. This is really, really easy.
But they asked, who is going to give money, health care, to illegal aliens? And they all raised their hand. Remember Joe? He's looking around. Oh, yeah, he didn't understand the question. He did. You know, at least he has an excuse because he has no clue what the hell they're asking. But do you remember his position? He was like this. Their hands are all up. We're going to give all our money away. Forget about all you people. That's a big crowd, by the way. Look at that. Show it, please. Turn those cameras, please. That's a beautiful crowd. That's beautiful. But remember Joe, so he's standing there. He's going to give health care to illegal immigrants, people that come into the country illegally, in other words, right? They come in illegally. And under a plan, they have the manifesto. They want to give them a lawyer. That's what we need is more lawyers now, okay? They want to give them a lawyer. They want to give them education. They want to give them health care. But they asked a question, and I said, wow, because I think they had like 26 people originally, but every one of them raised their hand, including Sleepy Joe. And what happened is Joe's like this, everybody other hand, and Joe, you could see he's, you know, for 47 years, he's got the itch because he's like, he knows this isn't going to work. He's saying to himself, because, you know, there's still something left, not much, but he's saying to himself, there's a natural instinct, right? A political instinct. and his shoulder went up, and then his hand. So I don't know. I don't think I'm even going to hold it to him. I'm not going to hold him. I get enough. How about the no fracking? We will not frack. Do you understand me? We will not. Then he gets
Okay, that's where we were.
Goes to Pennsylvania, where they are reliant on energy and fracking and the jobs. 100, probably.
Thanks for sitting through me with that. To hold it to me.
900 to 1 million jobs, right? Goes there. The day after he says he's not fracking, he says, we will frack. We will frack.
No, we saw this.
And for us either, is it, huh? You know that. Never going to be the end. Because we have something going that nobody has ever had going. We have a relationship with the people that nobody's ever had. Not because, I do think I'm a nice guy. A lot of people, they say suburbia, the suburban. I've saved the suburbs, okay? I've saved the suburbs. Then I heard I'm not doing well with suburban women, okay?
I've saved the suburbs.
I got... I do think I'm a nice guy. A lot of people, they say suburbia, the suburban. I've saved the suburbs, okay? I've saved the suburbs. Then I heard I'm not doing well with suburban women.
No.
Okay?
I've subbed the suburbs. I've subbed the suburbs. I've subbed the suburbs. I sub it up.
And then when I did great with women, they said, man, he did well with women. Same thing's going to happen. You know what I find? Suburban women, period, they want security. They don't want their home values going down. They don't want a low-income housing project built in the middle of suburbia next to their house. And we have a rule that's a disaster. It's a regulation. And I said to Ben Carson and some people.
Not a regulation.
I say, I want to terminate it. They looked at me. They go, well, we can amend it. I said, you don't understand. I want it terminated. You all know about it. It's a disaster where they change the zoning and they make it impossible and you end up with low-income housing all over the place. And remember this, 29 to 30% of the people living in suburbia are minorities. So this has nothing to do with discrimination. It has nothing to do with anything. What it has to do is with the American dream. The American dream. We're not going to destroy the American dream.
Well, you can discriminate against low-income people. That's what this is.
For stupid people like Cory Booker. And he was putting Cory Booker in charge. How about that one? That's a beauty.
He's not. Just say that he is stupid because it's not a thing.
He did a great job as mayor of Newark, New Jersey. That worked out. How's Newark doing? This election is a choice between...
I don't know. Why don't you ask them, since that was 8 years ago?
Trump recovery at a level that nobody's ever seen before, and a Biden depression. If they get elected, they're going to double and triple and quadruple your taxes. You will have a depression, the likes of which this country has never seen before, and that probably includes 1929. Okay? And one thing we learned about the farmers, they don't do well in depressions. Do we agree? They don't do well. Nobody does well in a depression.
Well, there was the Dust Bowl as well. Is that what you're referring to? The 1917 Dust Bowl?
Have problems like you've never had before. Joe Biden would terminate our recovery, delay the vaccine, prolong the pandemic. And by the way, for those states, open up your states. Open them up. Watch. On November 4th, all these Democrat governors that have lockdowns, right? I said right at the beginning, I think it was me that came out first, they'll try and say 20 years ago somebody said the same thing. But I said the cure cannot be worse than the problem itself.
He heard that on Fox News, that guy, I don't even know his name, British guy who does a Sunday night show, Revolution. Steve Hilton? Do I know his name? Is that the guy? But that's where he got that from. He started saying that the next day.
And if you look at what's happening with these lockdowns to children, get the children back to school. Like, I'll give you an example. The children, 99.9%, Barron Trump, he had the Corona-19, the China virus.
So, Corona 19. I was driving and listening to him talk months ago, and I was driving with Kevin Lee daughter. She's 21 years old, and we're listening. She's got her music on in her ears. I didn't realize she could even listen to what I was listening to on the radio. And listening to him, and he says, it's got a lot of different names. Corona 19, China virus. And she just says, nobody calls it Corona 19. No, nobody does. COVID-19, coronavirus, nobody calls it Corona 19 except Trump.
It's got 21 different names. I could go
It does
over
not.
it. But to me, Corona means Italy. China is China, and it came from China, so he had the China virus, right? And
Corona's Spanish. Is it
he
Italian
had
as
it
well?
for such a short period of time. I don't even think he knew he had it, because they're young and their immune systems are strong and they fight it off 99.9%. And Barron is beautiful, and he's free. In fact, my wife, our first lady, who loves Iowa, by the way.
I know Corona means crown in Spanish. Is it also Italian? It means crown?
Our first lady, she put out that Barron has tested positive. And I said, wow. And we talked
Yeah,
about
it is.
I said, you put it out, you're not, it's like personal stuff, but we really have it. I said, yeah, let's put it out. Barron's tested positive within like 2
Breaking on February 24th, Trump's economic team privately addressed the Hoover Institute and implied that a COVID outbreak could prove worse than advisors were signaling to the public. Thank you, David.
seconds. It was, Barron is just
And it will change nothing.
fine now. He's tested negative, right? Because it happens. People have it and it goes, get the kids back to school. We got to get the kids back to school. Get them back to school. All right? Get them back.
Yeah, Colleen, we don't call the swine flu the Mexican virus or the Mexico virus because it originated in San Diego. So, and before that, that's the 2009 swine flu. And before that, it's called the swine flu because it came, was it Iowa? It came out of the pork producers in the United States. So that's where it came from originally.
Get them back. And when I had it, you might have read, maybe most of you don't know this, but I had it too. I didn't love it. But it's a little tough, and you have a temperature, and you don't feel good. And then the scarier part is, where's it going? It's fine. You're at a 101 or 102, and then you say, I don't love this. You haven't had a temperature in years.
Latin is the basis for all Romance languages. That is correct, Ruth Ann. And my Romance language, vodka, is the basis for all my Romance language. And my Romance language is acts of self-service.
And then all of a sudden you have it. But you see what happens to people. And I went to the hospital, and it's an incredible hospital, Walter Reed. I've seen what they've done because I've been there many times for our great warriors that come back so badly wounded. And these doctors are incredible.
But have you been to Wells Fargo?
And one thing, when you're president, I'm laying in this bed, not feeling my best. And I'm surrounded by 12 doctors. One's the head of Johns Hopkins.
He could have gotten it from Barron. That's the thing. Barron could have picked it up with his friends because kids can carry it and spread it to others. And he could have gotten the virus from Barron. We don't know. There's no way to know.
One's the head of Walter Reed. One's the head, these incredible doctors. And I looked at the alternatives, all things we developed in the last 7 months. And one of them is Regeneron. And I said, I'll take that one. Because it very early into testing, but it had great numbers. And I'm telling you,
Colleen McShane is fact-checking. Your Science Daily and research articles say the pigs that carried the swine flu flew in from central Mexico. Yes, but that was Eric and Don Jr., and they had just come back from spring break. So technically still American.
They gave me this, and they call it a therapeutic. To me, it's a cure. Because I felt like Superman the following morning. I felt
Not a cure.
like...
Remulon, not a
In fact, I made
doctor.
a speech about a day later, 2 days later, somebody said, he looks better now than he did 2 weeks ago. What the hell's going on? So this is what's happening. We're making tremendous progress. The vaccines are coming out very soon. A lot of great things are happening on that front, but a lot of great things are happening for our country.
Is he just about
I'm
done?
working to make the antibody treatment that I received I want to give it to all of the people that qualify for it. people in hospitals, people just before they go to hospitals. We'll clean out our hospitals. Eli Lilly makes a very similar drug.
A what?
And we're going to do it free. Hospitals, people just before they go to hospitals. We'll clean out our hospitals. Eli Lilly makes a very similar drug, and we're going to do it free.
The Eli Lilly drug is on hold right now because of an unexplained illness, along with Philips. Who else? AstraZeneca. Hopefully we get a virus through. But in terms of the Eli Lilly, that is actually currently on hold.
We're going to do it free. So we're in that process of getting an emergency. It's called emergency use authorization, and we're going
not for Eli Lilly. You're not
to Regeneron and
Johnson & Johnson. Thank you, Colleen.
The Eli Lilly comparable drug. We're going to give it to everybody, and I hope they have the kind of luck that I have. But maybe I would.
They're going to have to go on with the trials before that.
Would have been perfect anyway. I like to say I didn't need it. I would have been perfect anyway because I'm so strong. You know, I said that. I said sarcastically, I said, well, I'm in no danger because I'm in perfect physical shape and I'm very young. And CNN goes and reports President Trump lied to the American public.
I don't think they reported that as a lie. I think everyone pretty much obviously knew that was a joke.
Said, can you believe this? This is, I was telling last night, we had an incredible rally in Pennsylvania. They're doing it to CNN. I thought they were doing it to me. I said, we don't have too many of them anymore. Do you ever notice, at the beginning when we started, we'd always have the phony people that stand up and, raise their voice, then go home to mom, get bawled out. I don't know. I shouldn't be talking about this because all of a sudden but we don't have that anymore. I learned about the cameras because the cameras never like showing. Look where that crowd goes to. Look where that crowd goes to, all the way back to the buildings. And I'm always telling, I never thought the cameras could move. And then I just noticed whenever we had a troublemaker in the audience, they'd spin around, they'd be in like a pretzel, right? They can do anything, these guys. I thought they were like rigid, like a rigid piece of steel. They don't turn. But if we had in the back room behind the pillar, that camera would be turning around like a snake, 15 different angles. But that sounds good. That's a brand new F-35 fighter jet. You can't see it. They say it's the greatest plane in the world. And by the way, speaking of that, our military, when I came in, the world's most overrated general told me, sir, we have no ammunition.
That's General Mattis.
Because we may have had a conflict very early in. And I said, no president should ever hear that. And we have rebuilt our military, $2.5 trillion.
Remember, he brought General Mattis into the administration because he just keeps bleeding people. And General Mattis eventually left the administration and said, hey, we got to be friends with our allies. That's the way the United States works. And so now General Mattis is overrated.
$1 trillion all made in the USA with equipment like that, the likes of which no country has ever seen before. We are the envy of Russia and China and any other country. We have equipment that
I don't know what he's doing in his mind when he does this. Putting them in a bucket or something. Russia and China and all the other country.
Nobody has our missiles, our rockets. Our nuclear has been totally upgraded, and pray to God we never have to
our nuclear capability.
Use it because I see what happens.
Our
Pray
nuclear,
to God,
our cyber.
If we didn't have that, we could be in very big trouble. It's a very tough situation. But you look at the new tanks that we've ordered from Ohio, by the way. We kept the Lima.
Lima.
I said, keep it open. They were going to close it. I said, keep it open. Before I became president, I said, keep it open. Because I visited it. I said, you could never build a plant like this. You could never get the people to make the tanks. And we're going to be ordering tanks. We've totally rebuilt our military. We have.
Why couldn't you build a plant and get people? Is there a reason?
The greatest missiles, rockets, tanks, fighters, bombers, tankers, ships in the world.
That is true, UN Owen. Our Space Force is the envy of all the country.
All made in the USA. You can be proud of your country. Look at this young, handsome This young, handsome farmer. You going to be a farmer someday?
Why doesn't he ever
You
call
gonna be a
Barron
farmer?
his son?
Huh?
He always calls him Barron Trump.
I'd like to be a farmer.
Did he call him my
too
son at all
sometime,
today?
I'll tell you.
He's called him
We're
Melania's
joined
son.
tonight by some incredible friends and
What if
great
he's not the
people.
dad?
Your governor, who's done an incredible job, Kim
Does Barron Trump look like... You know what? I don't even want to get into it.
Reynolds, and Kevin, her husband. Where's
Thank you. Woo!
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, honey. Really great
Kim
job, Kim.
Herd
How we
Mentality
doing, by the way?
Reynolds.
Okay, we're looking good? That's good. Thank you for everything, Kim. As well as Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg. Adam, thank you. Thank you very much.
China.
Great job. Iowa Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Nagy. Mike.
I don't honestly know. I just know
Thank you,
Barron's
Mike.
tall. I really don't know what he looks like.
Iowa Senate
He's fine.
Majority
He's a
Leader
kid. Good for him.
Jack Whitver. Thank you. See the way they all stay together? They like each other. Speaker of the Iowa
or they have
House.
designated
You
seats
gotta tell me
together.
This is good genes, I think, right? There are genes involved here, right? Pat Grassley, right? Good genes. What's the relationship, Pat? Huh? That's good stuff. You got good stock. I want to bet on that guy in the future. Thank you very much. Great job. I hear you're doing a great job. We're doing all right? Good. Thank you, Pat. Ambassador Terry Branstad. Okay, do we have time for one quick story about Branstad? Okay.
I
Because
don't
his
know.
son Eric is even better than him, but I'm not going to talk about it. And here's a guy that doesn't mind me saying, you know, a lot of fathers, they get angry if you say that. Oh, I'm better than my son. Those are not great fathers. This guy's proud. His son is great. But when I met Terry, it was long before I thought about this.
Holy
I heard the
smokes.
governor of Iowa was in New York. And he
We still got 33 minutes of this, so feel free to check out at any time, guys.
wanted to see me. I said, oh, what the hell do I want to see the governor of Iowa for? You know, I'm putting up buildings. And I'm saying, all right. And I invited him before I ever thought about really doing this, you know, early on at least. And he came up, and a humble guy, great guy, handsome guy, that face, right? And he sat down. I figured I'd give him like 5 minutes. Kim, no longer than that, 5. And I ended up spending an hour and a half. I said, that is the smartest governor. And then I learned, and as you know, he was the governor for 24 years. That's an all-time record in the United States, right? 24 years. And he told me a story in the first meeting. That was before I think that I was even thinking about doing this. And again, it's only because Obama and Biden were so bad. I said, let me do it. I wish I didn't have to, but I'm having a lot of fun because we're making such progress. But he told me a story. He said, you know, many years ago I met a man in China because he was selling corn. Can you believe it, right? Corn, crops. And he was selling corn. And he said to his wife, this is 35, 40 years ago, he said, I met a man in China and I went home to my wife. And I said, you know, I just met the next president of China many years forward, but I just met a future president of China. And I said, who was that? It was President Xi, who's now the president of China. And I said, you gotta be kidding. He said, nope, I could tell right from the beginning. He was different, and I'm not happy with what's going on, but he said, I just met the next president. And then I remembered that story, and then I ran, and he was so incredible to me in Iowa, and he wanted us to win, and his son was very much in charge of what we were doing, and it worked out great, and we won by a lot, and then we won the whole thing. And I said, you know, we have to pick somebody really smart for China. And I said, you know, the governor of Iowa came to me and told me that story, and I called him. I said, how would you like to be ambassador to China? And he said, sir, I've been doing this for 24 years. It would be an honor. And I have to tell you this, he represented us great with China. He represented us great. I never told that story. But about a month ago, he called. He said, sir, I want to come home now. I want to make sure you get reelected. I want to come home. And he's out there. I know he's out there working, but we love him. He's a special guy. You got a couple of real beauties with Grassley and with this guy. I'll tell you what, a couple of great people. Thank you very much for everything. Great job you did as ambassador. The only question I have is, do we call you Mr. Ambassador or Mr. Governor? What do you like? He said either one's okay. That's him. Anyway, thank you very much. Great job. I want to introduce another one who's one of the best, maybe the best in the whole country. He's the chairman of the Iowa GOP, Jeff Kaufman.
No, no.
You look good, Jeff. You lost weight, Jeff. You lost weight. I'm proud of you, Jeff. You do a great job. How are we doing? He said, Iowa's ours. Always be careful. He said, Iowa's yours. I said, never say that. The last one, you know, Beto, remember when he said he was running for president, he was doing okay, and he was on the cover of a third-rate magazine called Vanity Fair, and he made the statement, I was born to do this. I said, that's the end of his political career. And he was born to do it. That didn't work out. I hear we're doing great. Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Congressional candidate, a star, a guy who's going to be fantastic, David Young. David, thank you. You got a lot of good candidates. We're also joined by a very special guest, one of the greatest wrestlers in American history. You know that, right? He's an unbelievable guy. I've known about him for a long time. Do we all love Jim Jordan, our congressman, right? Right? Jim Jordan is a great wrestler, a great NCAA champion and all. A lot of people don't know that, but Jim's from Ohio. But he says the greatest of them all is a guy named Dan Gable. You ever hear of Dan Gable? And listen to this. I mean, I have to tell you, is Dan here? I hope he's here. Come here, Dan. Come on.
We're looking at him.
Come on. Look at this. You mean I can't take this guy in a fight? Can you believe it?
No, no hamsters. That's some bullshit.
Wow. Wow. Come here, man.
Wow.
Hey, Dan, I'm immune and I can't give it to you, so that's good. We love you. So,
That is dangerously not how immunity works. At all.
but I met Dan a few years ago, and I looked at him and I said, how come he's 181-1? Think of it. He won 181. People don't know, like, that's like crazy. 181-1. I'm going to ask you later on who is the one. I want to find out who. But he did something else. He won the Olympics.
That's from Lizzie.
1972. And to do that, he had to wrestle against the 6 greatest wrestlers in that weight class in the world. And he did something never done before. He didn't yield 1 point throughout the whole thing. And he ended up beating, in the Olympic finals for the gold medal, he beat the great Russian wrestler, didn't get a point. He went through the whole thing, nobody got a point. And I'm looking at him and I'm saying to myself, I'm telling you I could take him, but I better not try it. But Dan has been inducted into the USA Wrestling Hall of Fame, the US Olympic Hall of Fame, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, and the United World Wrestling Hall of Fame. And he's become University of Iowa's all-time most winning coach. In fact, Jim Jordan said he was as great a coach as he was a wrestler.
I love him.
How many championships did you win as a coach, Dan? 15. And I come from a town where you have the Jets, they never win. You have the Mets, they never win. He won 15. That's called talent. It's called extraordinary talent, actually.
What?
And what I did is I thought about it. I thought about it long and hard. We're very selective. So the Congressional Medal of Honor and the Presidential Medal of Freedom are the two
That's for Marcy.
awards you can get in our country. And I'm proud to announce that I will be awarding very shortly at the White House in the Oval Office, Coach Gable, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Oh, look, the dogs have me in the background. I love them. Look at the dogs.
Wow. That's humbling. That's humbling because that's the highest honor.
All right.
I'm used to winning.
Doop doop doo doop doo. Optical Lucille.
Well, he's the pride of Iowa.
Lucille!
He's,
Lucille!
You know, you always try and figure out what makes a champion because you look at him, nice guy, good-looking guy, all that stuff. But why is he 181-1? Why is he a gold medalist that's done something that nobody ever did? Didn't allow 1 point of any of these wrestlers, and they're all the best in the world, the toughest. And there's just something different, and you'll probably never figure it out. It is with great champions. You see it, and you see it all the time with great champions. But there are very few. Jack Nicklaus, you see it. Tiger got the same award. When Tiger won the Masters a few months ago, I said, you know what? That's an incredible thing he did. And we gave him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he said it's one of the greatest honors. He actually said it's his greatest honor. I said, Tiger, you deserve it. You know, he went through a lot, and he came back. But you have great champions, and they're different, and nobody knows why. That man is different, and he's a champion, and it's an honor to present you to the people that love you most, Iowa. Thank you. Thank you. Under my administration, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and now we're doing it again. We've got a V shape. We're going to see some very big numbers, and you're seeing it. In my first 3 years, family income increased by $6,000. That's more than 5 times the gains in all 8 years under the last administration. African American income grew 9 times more than it did under Biden and Obama. We lifted 6.6 million Americans out of poverty, so proud of that. African American unemployment, Hispanic American unemployment, and Asian American unemployment all reached the lowest levels in history.
And overall unemployment did not.
At the end of the last administration, the Congressional Budget Office projected fewer than 2 million jobs would be created over the next 3 years. And we crushed that prediction and created almost 8 million jobs. Nobody can believe it. And we're doing it again. My policies have benefited those who needed it the most. The bottom 50% of households saw an astonishing 40% increase in net worth. After our tax cuts, wages grew fastest for the nicest, I mean, it makes me feel so good, blue-collar workers. They were the ones that had the biggest benefit from what we did. Since the 50% of households saw an astonishing 40% increase in net worth. After our tax cuts, wages grew fastest for the nicest, I mean, it makes me feel so good, blue-collar workers. They were the ones that had the biggest benefit from what we did. Since the China virus...
Okay, what did he read erroneously that he interpreted as the nicest? And what did he say about a 40% increase? I'm with you, Chris. I'm like, wait, what did he just say?
Those who needed it the most. The bottom 50% of households saw an astonishing 40% increase in net worth.
What? How is that possible? What? Well, the bottom 50% of households don't own real estate. So, and 47% to 49% don't pay taxes. So your net worth is basically the cash on hand. What? How did they come up with that stat?
After our tax cuts, wages grew fastest for the nicest, I mean, it makes me feel so good, blue-collar workers. They were the ones that had the biggest benefit.
Why did he say the nicest?
From what we did. Since the China virus, we have created a record 11.4 million jobs. That's a record. We've never created jobs at a level at which we're creating them.
Well, we lost 22.2 million jobs, so 11.4 million. We're still down about 11 million jobs, buddy.
Now, we've already cut the unemployment rate in half. We're down to 7.8%. Sounds high, but a lot of people said we're going to be at 42%. We're down to 7.8 and going down rapidly.
Well, we also had the PPP that delayed unemployment for 50 million Americans. So just you wait.
Under Biden, it took 30 months to recover more than half of the jobs lost. 30 months. We did it in 5 months. Jobs have been recovering.
Because we were recovering from a virus, not from a recession.
Think of this.
Okay.
Jobs have dropped rapidly. Under Biden, it took 30 months to recover more than half of the jobs lost. 30 months. We did it in 5 months. Jobs have been recovering. Think of this. Jobs have been recovering 23 times faster than the Obama-Biden recovery. 23 times faster. Not 23%, 23 times faster. I've spent the last 4 years reversing the...
There's no math that makes that work. 23 times faster, 30 compared to... I do not understand where they're getting that from.
Damage Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years. He supported NAFTA, a disaster. Now you have USMCA.
NUFTA.
It's the best. It's now kicked in. He supported TPP, would have destroyed your farms, would have destroyed everything, and our auto industry would have been gone. And he supported China's entry into the World Trade Organization, a catastrophe for our nation. You know, China tries to get away with the fact that they are a developing nation. Not anymore. If Biden wins, China wins. That's what
They're still listed as a developing nation. You can qualify yourself as a developing nation. You just say we're a developing nation. It doesn't do anything for you with the World Trade Organization.
What's going to happen? If Biden wins, China will own our country. They'll own it.
They will not.
And if we win...
They already own a significant portion of our debt. They have that going for them.
Iowa wins in America.
What if it turns out that he owes most of that $400 million to the Bank of China?
Wins, and we're going to win for a long time. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations, fighting foreign wars, and defending foreign borders.
That's
but
from
now
Dr.
we
Howard.
are finally protecting our nation, rebuilding our cities, and we are bringing our jobs, our factories, and our troops back home to the USA where they belong.
They do belong here. You and Owen cleared everything up here. Thank you, Owen. Okay, I understand now. Just throw out a bunch of 50% got 40%, with 23 got more than half of all 22% in the next 6 months. And that is absolutely true. Thank you, Owen, for clearing that up for the rest of us.
And as I mentioned, one of the things that was very important to me was to eliminate the very
Dr. Howard?
unfair estate tax or death tax on small businesses and farms. So now if you love your child and you're a farmer and you think he's doing a great job or she's doing a great job and she wants to keep the farm or he wants to keep the farm, there is no more estate tax where they have to go out and borrow a fortune to pay the tax. Is there anybody here who has a child to which they do not want to leave the farm because they don't like their child? Because, raise your hand, please. Does anybody have the courage? Yeah, there's one person over there. He says he's only kidding. No, but it's a big thing. I mean, look, it's a big thing. A lot of farms will put out of business. The parents,
I'm just going to leave him up.
they pass away. They leave the farm to the son, the daughter, to the family, and the family has to go out and borrow a fortune, and then they have a little bad season, a couple of bad seasons, and they end up losing everything. We don't have that anymore. We cut the estate tax. It's out, gone. These are things a lot of people don't even know. We got that. Along with the tax cuts, we got that. Biden wants to repeal our tax cuts and massively raise taxes on your family farms. And what we did was hit the, you know this. I mean, you know exactly. We hit it so quickly. We hit so hard. We hit so strong on this whole tax situation because the farmers were being treated unfairly, unfairly with respect to...
They were being untreated. What happened?
We hit it so quickly. We hit so hard. We hit so... What we did was hit the... you know this. I mean, you know exactly. We hit it so quickly. We hit so hard. We hit so strong on this whole tax situation because the farmers were being treated unfairly, so unfairly with respect to taxes. I quickly issued a major disaster declaration, and I will be with you every step of the way. I think Kim will
Trump's
say
been
this,
hitting
your governor,
something.
when you had floods all over the place, you were like a large-scale swimming pool. I hate to say it, Iowa. I looked at the pictures that your governor sent. I said, Kim, I never knew that this was oceanfront property. And we took care of you, right? We gave you everything you needed, and we got rid of we rebuilt the dams and the dikes, right? We rebuilt it, and we rebuilt it fast. My opponent has put forward a radical plan to eliminate U.S. borders by implementing catch and release, imposing deadly sanctuary cities, and suspending all removals of illegal aliens. So if you have somebody that's a murderer or a rapist, we can't do it. They agreed with Bernie Sanders, crazy Bernie. There's nobody that knows how to lose like Bernie. 4 years ago, he lost. He went home happy. He lost again because Pocahontas refused to get out of the race. Otherwise, I would have been running against Bernie. I don't know which is better. There would have been a lot more enthusiasm for Bernie. Smaller base, more enthusiasm. But he got, I'll tell you, we're going to get a lot of the Bernie voters because they don't like Joe, and they love our policy on dealing with other nations, because they love our policy on trade, because they understand. They happen to understand that, but they also know we can do something about it. Bernie
This is
would
from
have
Colleen.
never been able to do that. The
Producer
United
Colleen.
States would be completely overrun in a matter of days. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history, and we are finishing the wall. It's now over 400 miles long. It's already built, and as I said, Mexico is paying for the wall.
It is not.
You know, we did more. One of these fake reporters said it. We did more. One of the only politicians that's ever run, forget about politician, but one of the only politicians ever run that actually
What?
has done more than he or she has promised. As an example, I campaigned a lot in Iowa. I never mentioned the word Space Force. But when I got into office, I realized I looked at Russia, I looked at Kim Jong-un, I looked at China. I said, we need a Space Force. And we got Space Force. I never talked about it in the campaign trail. We also passed VA choice for our great veterans and VA accountability, things that they said were impossible to get done. So now instead of waiting online for weeks and weeks, if they have to wait, they go out to a doctor, we pay the bill, and it's been a great thing. 91% approval rating in the VA. They're doing a great job over there. Think of it. I mean, I shouldn't be telling you this because they'll find a vet someplace who's unhappy. But think of it. All our lives, we used to see on the evening news horror shows with the vets and the vets and the vets, and it's terrible what they're doing. You don't see any stories about the VA. You don't see any stories. We have done 91% approval rating by the vets for the VA, the job we're doing.
I've thought about that, Stephanie. Stephanie suggests that we do a comparison video where you show his same talking points from 2016 and 2020. I've thought about that, and I might do that.
And we defeated 100%. You know, we're bringing our soldiers home, but we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate in Syria and Iraq. And when
We already
I took
covered
over,
that.
it was a mess.
Yeah, we covered that
We killed
extensively.
the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. They were looking for him for years and years. And we then took out the world's #1 terrorist and the mass murderer of American troops and many other troops and many other people. Qasem Soleimani is dead. Dead. One of the biggest things to happen in the Middle East in 50 years. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear catastrophe. $150 billion, $1.8 billion in cash for nothing. The deal's practically expiring now
Well,
anyway if we didn't.
it was their money.
terminate
It wasn't
kept
our
my
money, it was their
promise,
money.
recognized the true capital of Israel, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And you know that presidents have been talking about that for decades. Every president said they were going to do that, then they never had the guts to do it. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And that's been 52 years they've been talking about that. I got it done in about 2 hours. And instead of endless war, we're forging peace in the Middle East. So I get nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes, different subjects. And I told the story the other night. I was in Florida, Pennsylvania. I told our First Lady, darling, we're going to have the greatest publicity I've ever had tonight. I got nominated for the Nobel Prize. Do you know what that is, darling? Let's go home. So I leave for the first time in a long time early. I get home, I turn on the television. They talked about your floods in Iowa. They talked about how's Iowa doing the crops? How's this happening? How are they doing in Florida? 3, 4 stories, one after another. Where's my Nobel Peace Prize? They don't talk about it. I said,
Poor guy.
darling, this news
He didn't
is
get a Nobel
real
Peace
tough.
Prize. He got a nomination.
When
If you
Obama
got one.
his Nobel Prize, it was so early, he didn't even do anything. He still doesn't know what he got it for. They said, why did you get it? He said, I have no idea. And it was the biggest story. It was all over the place. With me, I got 3, and they got 3 nominations. Nobody talks
Right.
about it.
Nominations.
So at least I figured I might as well mention it, right? Kim, I should mention it, right, Kim? Kevin, right, Kevin?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Kevin, stand up, please, Kevin.
They were
There's my
nominations. They're not nominations. They weren't wins.
They went on a hunting trip. My son, Don, he loves hunting, and he went.
Can I-
Kevin, Don, and about 300 of the governors, your previous, Terry.
Can I sit?
Your previous governor's friends, and they all went hunting, and it was like 25 degrees below zero. The only 2 guys that stood out there the whole time were Kevin and Don Trump Jr.
Yeah.
And they came back. Everyone else was back
Canadian.
in about 15 minutes, Terry.
I'm
right?
used
they
to the
were all
cold.
back, and they wanted to go back into the lodge. The hell with this.
Yeah.
And after a weekend, my son comes back, and Kevin comes back, and you 2 guys didn't even know what they were talking about. You didn't know what the problem was, right?
No.
People don't know that about
I
Don.
never know
They
what-
don't know
what
that
you're talking
but
about.
Kevin is fantastic. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. He's a real.
I gotta capture that.
He's
I
a
gotta
real
capture
guy.
that. I am. I am.
So I'm ending the old wars, and Biden will lead us into new.
Hold on.
The only 2 guys that stood out there the whole time were Kevin and Don
Yes.
Trump Jr. And they came back. Watch the hell with this. And after a weekend, my son comes back, and Kevin comes back, and you 2 guys didn't even know what they were talking about. You didn't know what the problem was, right? People don't know that about Don, and they don't know that about. But Kevin is fantastic. Thank you, Kevin, for being here. Appreciate it. He's a real guy. So I'm ending the old wars, and Biden will lead us into new wars, and we did more in 47 months than Biden did in 47 years, and that's a fact. And if you look at the Democrats, they're pushing the most far-left agenda ever put forward by a presidential nominee. Their plan would destroy your Social Security. Destroy protections for pre-existing conditions.
Oh, I was muted for that. No. Okay, I see the confusion. No one. I was muted, and I wanted to explain it. No, guys. I was hunting Don Jr. It was a hunting trip. Well, I was stuck. Right. It's a thing we do, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. He was hard because wily little bucket, right? But what you got to do, just hang out by the tree stumps. Be very quiet. He'll show up eventually.
Biden vowed to terminate our travel bans on jihadist regions. You know, I got the travel ban. Everyone said, oh, that's not nice. I said, really? It's not nice to come up and blow up cities either, is it? We won in the United States Supreme Court, and he wants to end it and surge refugee admissions by 700%.
Didn't stop terrorism, by the way.
Meaning 700%, opening the floodgates to radical.
Hold on. What did 700% mean?
End it. And
Yeah.
surge refugee admissions by 700%.
Right, can you
Meaning
explain that?
700%, opening the floodgates to radical. End it. And surge refugee.
Hold on.
Really, it's not nice to come up and blow up cities either, is it?
It isn't.
We won in the United States Supreme Court, and he wants to end it and surge refugee admissions by 700%, meaning 700%, opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. No thank you. No thank you, Sleepy Joe. He'll ban school choice, and he'll
America's teachers, ladies and gentlemen.
ban charter schools, very important places, and it all starts. You know, civil rights all starts with the education, and we need school choice. In the second term, I will provide school choice to every parent in America.
Promised that in 2016 as well.
We've already started. We've already started.
We've already what?
You know, it's an incredible. We've already started. You know, it's an incredible thing because it's great education. We need school choice. In the second term, I will provide school choice to every parent in America. We've already started. We've already started. You know, it's an incredible thing because it's great education for less money. It's sort of a crazy thing. Less money, great education. And just to sort of finish up, a vote.
That's a good point there. Owen pointed out. Every parent deserves to have the choice to send their kids to whatever school is closed.
For Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and a limitless future for all Americans. Over the next 4 years,
And in
we will
conclusion,
make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world.
And in
we will
conclusion-
end our reliance on China once and for all.
And in
It's
conclusion,
already happened.
and in conclusion,
We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities.
Supreme Court says he
We
can't.
will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms, your Second Amendment.
He should
We
take
will
his jacket
strike
off for
down
that.
terrorists who threaten our citizens, and we will keep America out of ridiculous, horrible, endless foreign wars. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might. We have never, ever been even close to as strong as we are right now. Greatest equipment ever in our history. And we will ensure peace through strength. And if you remember when I ran, they said, oh, he's a very militant kind of a guy. We'll be in a war the first week. Well, where's the war? Where's the war? And I'm making other countries.
I thought that if he got really bad as the polls were coming in, and that he would start a war. And so far, he hasn't started a war, so I could be wrong on that one. I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong. I'm surprised. I honestly, I don't think he has any idea what his strategy is. I think he's in his own little world. He's completely lost it. He doesn't see reality at all anymore.
Paid because, you know, NATO, they weren't paying their bills. They were delinquent, to use a New York real estate term. They weren't paying their bills. I said, you got to pay.
That's not a specifically New York real estate term. That's an everywhere term.
The Secretary General of NATO is my single biggest fan.
Yeah.
They're paying $130 billion a year more now because I said, look,
$130 billion over 4 years. That he's only off by 75%. So let's let him have it and move on.
you got to pay. You got to pay. They rip us on trade, and then we're supposed to protect them. The European Union, so NATO. So they're paying $130 billion more, going to $410 billion more each year. So that's it. Where are the wars? He's going to get us into a war. Where are the wars? They don't want any part of us. Nobody wants any part of us in the world. And we're tired of being ripped off as a country. We will end surprise medical building. We will, you know, the surprise medical building.
He's done that so many times. We will end surprise medical building.
Is a year. So that's it. Where are the wars? He's going to get us into a war. Where are the wars? They don't want any part of us. Nobody wants any part of us in the world. And we're
That's
tired
true.
of being ripped off as a country. We will end surprise medical building. We will, you know, the surprise medical building is a disaster. It's ending as of January 1st. Require price transparency, all signed, all done January 1st. Can you imagine if I lose and I've done all these things, they kick in on January 1st? You're going to say, boy, that Biden's done a great job on price transparency. And they'll say, what do you think? And he has no idea what the hell it is. And further reduce.
It's price transparency. It's pretty transparent. Holy shit! A hospital! Oh my god! It's right there. I hate those surprise medical buildings. Oh my god, guys! I am so sorry. It just really. I wasn't prepared for that.
Reduce the cost of prescription drugs. We went to a favored nations clause so that we will pay the lowest drug prices in the world. Okay. We will strongly protect Medicare and Social Security, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first one existing conditions. And we will strongly protect Medicare and Social Security, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars.
All right.
And you know, when I took over, NASA was basically closed. It was shredded. It was nothing. And now it's the #1 preeminent space center anywhere in the world by far.
That is redundant.
We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools.
White power, white power.
We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American
Yeah, Marcy, you say Matt Damon, I say potato.
flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, in God we trust, and it won't change. For years you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Iowa. So
That's
get
Ruth
your
Ann.
friends,
That's Ruth
Get
Ann's
your
dog, and
fam-
I love him.
get your neighbors, get your workers and co-workers, and get the hell out to vote, because if I don't get Iowa, I won't believe that one.
Get the hell out to
I
boat,
may
did you
never
say?
have to come back here again. Get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, get your workers and co-workers, and get the hell out to vote, because if I don't get Iowa, I won't believe that one.
Toe vote?
I may never have to come back here again if I don't get Iowa. I'll never be back. You understand that, Kim?
That's a promise.
I will say this, there has never been a president has done more for farmers. I will here again if I don't get Iowa. Co-workers, and get the hell out to vote, because if I don't get Iowa, I won't believe that one. I may never have to come back here again if I don't get Iowa. I'll never be back. You understand that, Kim? I will say this, there has never been a president has done more for farmers and ranchers, for the Farm Belt, for Iowa. There's never been a president that's even come close to what I've done. And I will say that, and I'll say it loud and clear. I'll say that loud and clear.
So, for the first 150 years of this country, we were a country of farmers. So, that's really, really hard to argue.
From Cambridge to Council Bluffs, from Cedar Rapids to Rock Rapids, from Davenport to right here in Des Moines, we stand on the shoulders of Iowa patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. We inherit the legacy of American heroes. Just nobody has anything more than what you have. So much. Look at yourselves and look where you've come. Look even in the world of politics. Iowa. It's Iowa.
Look at yourself and look where you've come? It's not something I want to discuss right now.
And by the way, as long as I'm here, Iowa, and I made this pledge to you 4 years ago, Iowa will always come first in the rotation. You know what that means, right? There's a lot of pressure. Let's put them back. I said, no, you're not putting them back. You know why? Because that's called the opposite of cancel culture. That's called a great American tradition. Iowa will always be number one, okay? You can forget it. We inherit the legacy of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, dug out the Panama Canal, raised up the skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and landed our brave American astronauts on the face of the moon. So much you've done. We made America into the single greatest nation in the history
We're right
of the
outside
world,
the-
and the best is yet to come. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people.
Oh, the Wells
Your
Fargo
help,
wagon is
your devotion and your drive.
Sorry, it's like the Walter Reed wagon is coming down the street. I hope it's something special for me. To get that, you got to go back to the beginning of the broadcast where I called Walter Reed Wells Fargo. So see, this is all Music Man. We got trouble right here with the River City and the ballots are in the river, capital T, and that stands for Trump, and that rhymes with stupid.
We are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep
hope
on
it's something
winning,
special for
winning,
me.
winning.
By the way, probably least favorite song in a musical is That Kid. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming down the street. I hope sunset says. And that was Donald Trump as a child. Little known fact, he did a lot of Broadway.
Because we are one movement. We are one people and one family. We are one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Iowa, we have made America wealthy again.
Oh,
We have made America strong again.
good.
We have made America proud again.
Yeah.
We will make America safe again. And
Oh.
we will make America great again. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is he gonna dance? We gotta make it quiet. Stop it. Da 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 da. See if we can do this in the chat room. Da 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 da. Young man, what did you go? I said, young man, 'cause your mom is a hoe. I said, go there, and you can't go away. You can see what I see. Okay, and you go to your bed. You say, hey there, would you like to have some? And you go there, and and me. Come on, everyone together. So happy, da 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 da. It's fun to. Oh, we're doing it together. We did it together. Trump and me. Santa's Day at the Y in the chat room. Come on, Y. I gotta wait 4 seconds. It's fun to stay at the 1, 2, 3, 4. Y and then M. C. Guys, come on. You're terrible at this. Y. Just the Y. Just what? Like this. Y M C. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Colleen and Chris have it. There we go. YMCA. It's fun to say it. YT. Marcy, you're in your damn autocorrect. Look, are they even doing the YMCA? What are they doing? The Macho Man? What's going on? No, it's YMCA. Why is no one doing the YMCA? What is happening? Oh, look at that shirt. I found like patriotic Waldo in his pajamas. What? Are they skipping the chorus on this? He's all, young man. But the devil, he said, young man. Can I get in your hole? I said, young man. Here it is. No one is doing it. No one is doing. That is the ultimate white people dance. That is your raison d'etre. Sorry, your raison d'etre. Why aren't they doing it? It's really simple. It's why aren't they doing? Oh dear. Wow. Wow. Where does all this go, by the way? All these cameras. Because they don't end up on the Twitter much. I don't think these people use this. Is it Facebook? Those of you on the Facebooker regularly, do you see all these videos from the people in the crowds? Because they're right up there. They must have it. USMCA. Okay, he's leaving. Bye-bye. Are we still YMCAing?
MCA, they can stop you.
No. No, there's a ton of phones. There's a ton of phones capturing him. Where do they all end up? Where do these people post it? Is it Instagram? I don't really Instagram. I don't do the chat snap, the Instagrams, the TalkTick. I don't partake in much of it at all. I am broadcasting live on 4 different platforms though. But in terms of I was on the Parler, and it's really, really boring. So Parler reached out to me. I don't know how they found me. But anyway, Parler reached out to me and was like, hey, would you like to set up an account? It's so easy. And I was like, how did you get my information? So they want liberal voices on Parler because it's just it's someone posts something and then everybody agrees with it. But people don't stay engaged. They just, yeah, that totally agree. Moving on. Obamagate, moving on. They don't stay on the platform. Parler wants to sell advertising. In order to sell advertising, you got to have eyeballs. In order to keep eyeballs, you want to keep the eyeballs engaged. You ever wonder why everything on Facebook is racist? Because racism engages people. Is the country racist? No, the country's not racist. Is there racism? Yes, there is. Do you see more racism? Yeah, because of course it's interesting, just like Trump is interesting. Please fall, please fall, please fall. He did it. Turns around, clapping, do the Y. No? Anyway. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. All right, kids, that's it for tonight. I do have, there's something else coming up here as well. We'll cover this tomorrow, I think. This is the president's address to the Economic Club of New York. They do this every year.
Oval Office in the Rose Garden, very special place.
But not from the Rose Garden. They do it. It's 21 minutes. We'll cover this tomorrow probably, so stay tuned for that.
And it's an honor to once again address the Economic Club of New York as well as the...
Oh, yeah, we got to do the town halls tomorrow, too. We'll probably do Trump first and then Biden second. I'm really hoping that one of the channels says, you know what? Honestly, if ABC just said, you know what, we're going to do our second. Or whatever, so that they can respond to the Trump town hall. Smart programming if they do it that way. I don't know. Anyway, so this was the broadcast. This is the live stream. This is what we do. We'll cover the town halls tomorrow. We'll cover this maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll just skip it. Depends on what is it? Wednesday? What's today, guys? Wow, this is where we are. It is Wednesday. So I got a couple of other things to do tomorrow, but we should be able to cover this at some point. I don't know who's going to be on Fox and Friends. I don't know if I'm doing Covfefe tomorrow or not. That's a morning show that we do, Spilling Covfefe with Kevin Lee. So we might cover that. I don't know. Tomorrow's up in the air. I just know we will be doing, I'll make sure that we're around for the town halls. What time are the town halls, anybody? They're both at the same time. I know that. I'm imagining they're at 9 p.m. Eastern. Somebody want to hit me with that? Yeah, we're going to do the haircut too. I'm not sure if we'll do the haircut tomorrow. Let's see what's going on here.
Economic Club.
Somebody research what time.
Clubs of Chicago, Florida, Pittsburgh, Sheboygan, and Washington.
Wow, his makeup's bad.
D.C.
I don't want to hear I think it's 8, Chris. I want to know.
See, I know so many people that are...
Wow. No, his voice is terrible here.
Proud members, and they're great people. And it's a great honor to be with you, especially in this very strange kind of a year with what we have to do communication-wise. To be doing it, really, it's quite nice. It's a quite nice way to do it. The choice facing America is simple.
Hold on, I'm
It's
looking at myself.
between historic prosperity under my pro-American policies.
Oh, is it 8? Okay.
Or very crippling poverty and a steep depression under the radical left. And that's what you'll have, is a depression. I will deliver optimism, opportunity, and growth. They will deliver pessimism, stagnation, decline, and very high taxes. Simply put, it's a choice between a...
Wow. He has several frogs in his throat. Maybe it has to do with the rain of frogs. Maybe they are going directly into... So what do we got left? We've got locusts. We've got firstborn. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, so we'll cover that. We'll probably do Trump live first. Let me make sure that I have those recording so that we don't lose that. Wait a minute, where is it? It's not there. Come on, it was ABC, right? Town Hall, Joe Biden. That was CNN. What's Thursday, October 15th, 5 p.m. on ABC. Okay, I got it. So we're all set. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for hanging around. And we will see you tomorrow. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. I want to stay at the YMCA. Hey, let yourself go. You can have a nice Joe. You can do whatever you feel. I was never into the Village People, so I don't really know the words to this song. Live stream. Can't believe fun. You're welcome, Chris.